Welcome back to the Hurry Up Offense. 5 minutes of fantasy football news and advice. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. Let's go. Today's topics will be bye weeks don't count anymore. And also, I want to add a person or two to the done list. But first, let's get into the news. Julio Jones is still not practicing. Now, of course, I put Julio on the done list last week. I'm not saying he's definitely done. I'm saying that it's a possibility at this point. But Julio is still a threat in this league. He may just be done for fantasy reasons. And I want to point out that without Julio on the field, you cannot trust or lean on Matt Ryan as much because Julio draws the double coverage and leave the other weapons open for Matt Ryan to target downfield. So Julio is directly linked to Matt Ryan's production no matter who else is on the field. Davante Adams is practicing in full, and thank God we all need him. If you drafted Davante Adams, hopefully you haven't let him go at some point, which would be an idiotic thing to do, but hopefully, God, we hope he is back this week. Please let that happen. Looks like there's a huge chance that Drew Lock is coming back this weekend. So if you're in a deep quarterback league, say a 2-quarterback league or just a 14, 16 team league and you need Drew Lock, hopefully that's an asset coming up for you this weekend. Now on the same team, the Broncos, Melvin Gordon has been convicted of a DUI and excessive speeding. We don't know his punishment at the time of this recording, so watch that. You may or may not have him this weekend. Same thing goes for Cam Newton. If you need him back, he is back. He has been activated from the COVID list, so look for him to be starting for the Patriots. Think about it. That was very useful. They got a bye last week, huh? Jimmy Garoppolo is uncertain for week 6 for the 49ers. That team is in disarray. I'm not trusting any of the fantasy assets at this time. And last but not least, the Jets. Sam Darnold is still out, and that offense is still anemic. But Le'Veon Bell is gone. I kind of foretold this when I said he will never be productive with that offense. Boy, was I right. He's gone. He's been waived. Let's see who picks him up next. It better be a team with a great offensive line. That's it for the news. Let's get into the game theory portion of the show. And first, I just want to say that bye weeks do not count this year. You can't depend on a bye week at any time. Usually during a season, I would be looking forward a couple of weeks before my bye week coming up and start rearranging pieces to get there. But the tumultuous situations that we have going on in the NFL right now, you can't count on a bye week. It could happen next week. It could happen weeks down the line. Anything could be arranged at this point. So do not count on bye weeks being there or not being there because it can be changed. Just plan on making your roster as strong as possible for every single week. And if a bye week does pop up out of the blue, which is happening, you got to be able to handle that. So keep an eye on who's on the waiver wire in your league and your trade partners because they're going to be really important during this. Keep an eye on who has the experience in your league because you can always trade with people with experience. Like I touched on in the last week's episode, some people do not trade, especially newcomers, because of the fear of rejection. And also, when someone drafts a player, they have this certain draft capital in their head. They have this certain connection to this player because they drafted him. They want to see that player succeed. They want to see it through. Sometimes they hang on to assets that they shouldn't. And sometimes it's harder to get assets out of them. Even if you have a situation that's better for their team that you are trading them, they won't give up their player. So know who will, know who won't. The last thing I want to touch on is who I'm going to add to the list right here, to the done list, is AJ Green. Now, I was thinking about T.Y. Hilton, but I'm not putting T.Y. Hilton on there because I saw last week that sometimes in this offense he can be productive. but we'll see what happens for the future. He's not setting the world on fire right now, but AJ Green has given up. I do not see him being productive for this team ever again. I think AJ is done mentally. I don't think he really wants to play here anymore. And you know what? I don't think that AJ is completely done. I would not be surprised to see him just bomb this season until the trade deadline and then be traded away to the Patriots at the trade deadline and then go back to being a top 10 receiver in this league for the Patriots. Do not count that out. Guys, that's it for this week. Thank you for tuning in to the Hurry Up Offense. Please subscribe to the Beyond Football channel. I am Smokey Rameriz, your fantasy football pro. I'll see you next week. Deuces.